Welcome to US Movie Recaps. In today's video, we will be enjoying an adventure action film, entitled The Witcher, Nightmare of the Wolf. There will be spoilers ahead, chill out and enjoy. The movie opens up in the forest. Some people are seen along with their moving truck, which they are using for their transportation, and when they get to a point, they stop and Sugo's father went out to get some things that they are going to need while they are in the journey. And while his father is gone, Sugo, who wanted to ease himself, tries to get out of the truck in order to pee even though his father has left him in the truck so that he will look after his sisters. However, while he was peeing, he was feeling relieved to the extent that he closed his eyes. However, his papa told him not to close his eyes and even his ear so that he can watch over his sisters because it was frightening the girls. Unfortunately, while Sugo's father was trying to comfort the girls that there are no bandits, he was killed by one of the lesson in the forest. Seeing their father killed, they were afraid, and they decide to run away in order to rescue their lives because they were all pursued by the lesson. But while they are all trying to run away, the sisters were all killed by the lesson. Sugo was the only one that was lucky to escape from the lesson. However, while he was running away, after the death of his father and sisters, trying to escape from the lesson in the forest, he could not help himself to the extent that he stopped running because he is tired and he cannot fight the lesson. However, while he was resting after running, someone grabs his back in order to help him to escape from the lesson, and the person happens to be the Witcher. The Witcher keeps him away from the lesson so that he will not be killed or affected by the lesson. After a while, when the Witcher was trying to go away, the lesson attacked the Witcher to an extent that the Witcher had to use his superpower to attack it. And after a while, the Witcher was able to kill all the lesson that attacked him. But after killing them, Sugo thought that he is going to kill them, but he did not kill them. So he asked him to kill them, but Witcher told him that there are several ways to kill a lesson: behead it, sacrifice a few of its furry pets and a few old dryad spells that can also be used to kill them. Suddenly, a lesson appears to him to fight him, but the Witcher kills it with the fire that comes out of his hand. While the lesson was dying, he began to speak. Sugo was surprised to see the lesson speaking because he thought they did not speak. But the Witcher answers him based on his experience that they do not speak. After killing all the lesson that attacked him and saving Sugo from them, the Witcher visits the dead body of Sugo's father in order to get some coin from him. After the death of his father and his sister, Sugo finds his way to the city, and he was talking to the first lady of the city, and the Witcher told him that he should use his sad face on the alderman due to the death of his father and his sisters as well. And when he gets to the first lady of the city, he explains all that has happened in the forest to a woman, about the death of his father and his sisters, including the lesson and the Witcher saving him. And the woman makes sure that she explains to the king based on the information she has gotten from the little boy, Sugo. But Madame Gilchrist made it clear to the king that Sugo's father was a treasured member of the assembly and a loyal subject to our king. She also adds to her speech before the king that she and her student resubmit their petition that the king should seize the Witcher home of Keir Morhen and exile its occupants for the crimes against Kedwin's people. However, during the meeting, Madame Gilchrist tries her possible best to convince the king that the Witcher is bad, but she was unable to prove with any evidence. This made the king neglect her point. Vesemir begins to think about what happened to him during his youth age when he, along with his best friend Ileana, he was able to remember most of the things that happened to them when they are both young. However, the two of them were friends from childhood and they all move around together, to the extent that their friendship is well known to everyone around them. Vesemir and Ileana set up a plan in the market to steal from a man. According to the plan, Vesemir distracts the marketman by acting as if he steals a fruit. And when the market man tries to run after Vesemir in order to get back his product, Ileana, who has been hiding in a place not far from the man's shop, steals another item from the shop. And while the marketman is about to catch Vesemir, he drops the coin that is worth the amount of the product he carried and he left away. However, while the two promising friends were happy with their success according to their plan, they were approached by a Witcher, who realized their plan in the market, and he asks them to take him to the mistress that oppressed by Amar, or else he will take them to the market to expose them. However, they had no other choice but to listen to him, and they took him to the mistress. While he trying to cast out the Mar, he asks everyone to get out of the room so that they will not be affected by the demon. While everyone was trying to go out of the room, Vesemir insists that he will like to stay in the room to help Raglan the Witcher. However, when the demon gets out, Vesemir tries his best to get the demon killed, but he was unable to do that. After a while, Daglan killed the demon and he was rewarded for it. Enticed by promises of coins and riches, he wanted to be able to get more coins so that he can solve more of his financial problem. When he tried to explain to his best friend he loves, Ileana realizes that he is obsessed with a coin, so she decides to leave her. Vesemir traveled to Keir Morhen, even though it was hard for him as the weather is not favorable during his journey. However, while the past is gone, now in the present, Vesemir is visited by the elf Filvandrel, who tells him that the Lechen spoke an ancient and forbidden tongue few dared to speak, which proved that the forest is cursed under a powerful spell. Meanwhile, the sorceress Tetra Gilcrest of the Kedwin court tries to instigate the king to wipe out the witchers of Caer Morhen, whom she deems to be an abomination. But her words are not heeded due to the zealous efforts of Lady Tserpst, who is sympathetic to the witchers and their cause. Vesemir visits Caer Morhen, where he reluctantly oversees the training of a young Geralt, Cohen, Lambert, and Ezekiel. Vesemir enters the castle and encounters one of his friends, Lucas. He reads a letter that claims that witchers are only meant for killing and that there are no honest men among them. After some discussion, Vesemir goes to check on some recruits, who are irate because they haven't been trained. Vesemir then falls down a cliff and wakes up in a swamp, where he encounters Friedrich, one of the mages who creates witchers, who informs him of the science behind both witchers and monsters. Dieglin then enters the room to inform Vesemir that a letter has been sent for him. Then, we see Vesemir reading the letter that his childhood friend sent to Lyanna. In the letter, she informs Lyanna that his father was killed and that the village has been occupied by another family. We can also hear Eliana's voice throughout the letter. We see how Vesemir and the children are turned into witchers, as well as the pain and suffering that the children must endure to become witchers. The film also demonstrates how talented a witcher Vesemir becomes after this. We then see Vesemir and his friend Luca enjoying a drink. However, a knight begins to criticize them, saying that they scare the populace and that they don't need to be doing this. Lucas gets up and begins making fun of the knight. He then becomes enraged and begins beating them. However, after a while, Vesemir and another fellow witcher, Luca, are arrested for killing two knights in a bar fight. Lady Tserpst persuades the king to send Vesemir along with Tetra to rid the forest of Kitsu. She delivers the mission order to Vesemir, who recognizes her as the now 70-year-old Lyanna. Vesemir and Tetra set out and she tells him the story of a young sorceress wrongfully killed by a witcher as part of a con, and that she is convinced that all witchers are corrupted. They find Kitsu, mutated and now able to cast powerful illusions and fight her basilisk. They kill the monster, but Kitsu escapes. Following Kitsu, the pair come across an old and abandoned elven school where they find the bodies of the other missing female elves. They rescue the captured Filvandrel, who explains that Kitsu tried to replicate the experiments that were done on her, and they conclude that the witchers were responsible, creating new monsters to keep them in business. Vesemir surmises that the monsters he encountered were probably created in Caer Morhen and leaves to confront Dieglin. As he departs, Tetra destroys Kitsu's den, finds Kitsu later surveying the destruction, and blames the witchers. Back at court, she likewise tells the king of the witchers' responsibility for the recent monster attacks and is given the authorization to lay siege to Caer Morhen. The king has Luca wrongly executed despite Lady Tserpst's protests. She then escapes, warning the witchers. Dieglin admits to Vesemir creating the monsters, including Kitsu, to protect their way of life and is alerted by Lyanna of Tetra's assault. Tetra and the local townsfolk attack Caer Morhen with Kitsu and her monsters. Lyanna helps the witcher recruits flee into the mountains. Vesemir confronts Tetra, who has captured the mages and is holding them hostage in the basement. Kitsu arrives and plunges Vesemir into an illusion where he married Lyanna and had a family. However, Vesemir can break out of the illusion and engages in a fierce battle with Tetra and her forces. He seemingly kills Tetra and Kitsu, only for it to be revealed as another illusion. He had instead mortally wounded Lyanna and killed the mages, meaning that the art of creating more witchers died with them. Tetra reveals she is the daughter of the sorceress killed by the swindling witcher from her story before being killed by a dying Dieglin. He asks Vesemir to find the recruits and make them into better men before succumbing to his wounds. At the behest of Lyanna, Vesemir allows Kitsu to flee, and he carries a dying Lyanna from the burning castle. Vesemir takes Lyanna to a lake, where she always dreamed of living. The two share a brief moment before she peacefully passes away. He then sets out and catches up to the recruits, including a young Geralt, taking them under his wing as the last batch of witchers. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to our channel to get notified whenever we publish the next recap. Till then, take care. See you next time.